Hey guys, so today we are back with another video on the fantasy fights. Now I know it has been a while since I did one of these and that is my fault, so I'm sorry to you guys for that, and especially some of the people who enjoyed this. But today we are coming back, we're continuing, hopefully regularly, and today we'll be talking about Ace, Sabo, and Luffy versus Kaido, the strongest creature alive. And as always, before I jump into anything else in this video, let me just ask you, if you haven't already, please subscribe. If you're interested in the content and my videos, don't hesitate. Pressing that little red button goes a long way. As well as the fact that if you're not caught up or if you're unsure if this contains spoilers for you, please check my description. I always put a little tag to let you know where you should be to watch without being spoiled, like, at all, right? So yeah, do check that out as well. Now, I think one thing I'm going to say, I think there's two things to say before I really get into the whole thing of this going down. And that is, one, for this video, I'll be taking Sabo, Ace, and Luffy at 3 different points in the series, right? So Luffy, I'm taking him right now as he is in Wano country, rooftop battle with Kaido. Sabo, I'll be taking him before he ate the Mera no Mi in the Cordia Coliseum in Dressrosa, just before then. And Ace, I'll be taking him just before he died, assuming that was when he was, strongest. Of course, yeah. Given some stuff, that was when he was strongest and he was alive. I'm not going to be predicting how strong he would be if he didn't die, nothing like that. It's not this type of video. And the only reason why I just didn't want to give Sabo, right now, because I didn't want to have two people with the same devil fruit. It kind of feels like it's conflicting a bit. So there we go. Luffy right now, Sabo just before he ate the Mera no Mi, and Ace just before he died. And the three of them at that level, where would they be now? The second thing is the points of contention, right? Like what, the argumentative points of how strong is Kaido right now overall. We don't know the ceiling of his strength. Same thing with Sabo. We barely saw him do anything before he ate the devil fruit, and when he did, it's not like he was going all out. And then we've got Ace and the problem between the feats in the pre-time skip and the post-time skip, where the pre-time skip looks like a little less impressive as far as the way Oda showed the feats, but it seems that we're now getting more information about how impressive those characters really are. And so depending on these things, just know that your interpretation and mine would be different. So that's why I always like your thoughts at the end. Now let's get into it, actually, like how this would actually shake down. And I think first of all, I have no way of making this work because it's 3 different people. Normally I like to say, okay, this is how they meet and start fighting, but I can't really do that now because 3 different points in time, really. And as far as the actual matchup, I think that why it's interesting is that, of course, as far as we know, Luffy, he has good haki, he can damage Kaido, he's learned some stuff. So he's good there. He's got, good transformations going on, resilience with the rubber. And then you've got, Ace, who also uses fire. So once again, borrow breath. I'm not sure how that's going to go down. But Ace has good thing with the fire. He has armament as well. Although we're not sure how great his armament is, we know that he at least has it. So that's good there. We're not sure about his observation. I mean, you can assume he has it, and depending on how this goes, I may have to assume that he does. But for now, that's all we know about Ace, right? And that he's really strong overall, right? He's got impressive strength. And then we've got Sabo, who showed this advanced armament haki before it was even explained, right? And he's got the Ryosoken, the dragon claw technique. This time fighting an actual dragon, which is what's great about this matchup as well. Sabo as well has the observation, although we're not sure. It seems just to be like that general observation that most fighters in the One Piece world have. Nothing too special about it, as far as we know. Now, as far as, taking Kaido in his human form, I think that that's a pretty much set in stone one. Like I would say, right? Because Luffy doesn't really get taken out by Kaido's Thunder Bagua or anything like that. Like it hit him. It's able to hit him, but for the most part, he's all right after Thunder Bagua. Sabo, I imagine he'd do even better with more experience with Haki. And I mean, I imagine that Sabo would not be able to, have the future sight to see it coming, but enough observation and good enough, like much better than Luffy armament Haki to actually block and take just as much or if not less damage than Luffy. And then Ace, I am just assuming that as long as Kaido doesn't put Haki into that, Ace will be fine, right? Or Ace can also just, maybe he has observation good enough to dodge in time, and he can maybe mold his body around the actual club. But I don't see either of them struggling too much with the Thunder Bagua. I feel like that is very basic of the basic. They can take that, right? Now, of course, we haven't really seen how much Kaido does fight in his, human form, because he doesn't seem to do that much. He seems to just tank attacks and, knock people with his club Thunder Baguas left, right, and center, which is not that it's not impressive, but that's all we've really seen. Now, talking about dragon form, right, that's when we start getting into all these other things, right? The Tatsumakis, right? The Dragon Breath, Boro Breath, everything going on there. Eating people, really, as well. And this is where it gets interesting, right? Because this is where we've seen a lot of Kaido's strength. Now, as far as Ace damaging Kaido, because it seems like Ace is really the weak link in this team. I mean, admittedly so, because we're taking Ace 2 years ago and everyone's gotten a lot stronger since then. But Ace damaging Kaido, I don't see, too much of that. I think that, you could damage Kaido, and this is just, from my perspective, that it is possible to damage someone, even though they have good haki, if you just keep chipping away at them, right? Although I think Ace on his own would not be able to chip away enough to really, hurt Kaido. But I think in this matchup, with all the blows that will be going down, Ace can do some damage in the process at chipping down Kaido's strength. Because, they're helping each other out. When one of them's in trouble, the other one blocks, dodges, all that kind of stuff. Like what's been going on right now. So, coming back to, Kaido in dragon form, I think that it's really hard to tell, especially with the Tatsumaki. Because I know as far as the size, all of these guys should have observation haki. I mean, Ace is not confirmed, but we can assume he has a good enough observation as, any commander of a Yonko would. Even if it's basic, he has it, and they can dodge that. That's not an issue. So when sides, it's not an issue. These guys can even block it if necessary, I believe. Next we have, what other attacks does Kaido do? He has the Boro Breath. Now, Ace is not gonna just block that because he's, got the Mirror no Mi, because he did struggle with this one guy in the Ace novels who also used fire, technology. But I think that, Ace, even at that point, 2 years ago, I feel like he has good enough control over flames to not render it useless, but to deal with it, right? To deal with the Boro Breath. Luffy himself could also go through it and keep fighting, although that did do damage to him. And I think Sabo has good enough armament haki to contain it, really. I mean, Sabo has really awesome armament haki to begin with. So, there, I don't think Boro Breath is going to be an issue. It can either be slightly dealt with or, in worst case, tanked or dodged, right? So Boro Breath doesn't seem like it's going to be an issue. I think the biggest issue that seems like will be there will be the tornadoes, because we don't even know how these guys will deal with that, except for moving away, really, right? That's the best thing I feel like these guys have, is just move away from the tornado. And maybe, Ace can take advantage of the tornado, add some flames to it, damage Kaido that way. But that's all I've really got. Now, as far as these guys themselves actually hurting Kaido, of course, we've got Luffy and his, Ryo, advanced haki, Gatling punches, everything in Gear 4th. We have Sabo's Ryu Soken, which would be great to see, because I feel like that, Sabo's level is still, on a different tier to Luffy, because it's kind of like Luffy's future sight now. Like, Katakuri probably still has much better future sight than Luffy, but Luffy also has it, right? Luffy's kind of like at a base level, while Katakuri's still, ahead above him. Similar thing with Sabo. I believe that, Sabo's armament is still, ahead above Luffy, even though both of them do have the advanced form. So I think that, you know, it's kind of like the way we've been seeing like some hints of attacks from Zoro, which will kind of damage Kaido a lot, but Zoro can't spam it. I think Sabo will be much more capable of, you know, spamming his techniques. Maybe not spamming them in the sense of a Gatling gun kind of spamming, but using them more regularly without, you know, heavy breathing kind of thing, the way we've been seeing Zoro do it a bit. So that's what I think about Sabo and, you know, kind of his effectiveness against Kaido, where he can just keep going. Of course, once again, this is just Kaido, so forget Big Mom. There's no interference from Big Mom. It's just the three of them hitting Kaido with everything they've got. Once again, we've got Ace, who, you know, for the most part is Mera no Mi. He's got some good armament, and I think that those two together is an add-on, right? Because I feel like, that's why I get confused why Ace thought he could take on Kaido, but I feel like his attacks would just be kind of like that little bit of on top, you know. Not doing the most damage, not doing much damage, but it's kind of chipping away, not giving him enough time to kind of regenerate fully, you know, heal himself during the fight, you know, as Kaido seems to have been doing thus far. So Ace is just supplying that little bit extra, while, you know, Luffy's, you know, doing a lot of damage, and then, you know, obviously the most effective attacks are coming from Sabo himself. With that, I don't even think Kaido would last that long in his dragon form with the effectiveness of these guys, and he'd be probably forced into hybrid. Now, of course, we don't know what the hybrid entails. We don't know what's there, right? We don't even know where Kaido got his club from once he turned into hybrid, from the time he turned into dragon. Like, we don't know. Where did that club come from again? But it seems that as long as they keep a formation in which Sabo is the spear, you know, Luffy is somewhat of a, actually I have no idea where this was going. I just wanted to say Sabo was a spear. Yeah, Sabo doing the most damage. Ace kind of supporting both of them and kind of, you know, just they're adding on to the attacks. Luffy somewhere in the middle between supporting, helping to block, and, you know, keeping the punches going over and over and over again. That would be great. And I feel like that is just kind of like a winning strategy. It's kind of like the locker room strategy on the board. It's like, this guy, guys, listen, this is how we're going to defeat Kaido. And I feel like if they stuck to that, they'd have a high probability. Now, the issue comes in with the Gear 4th timing, the 10-minute break. What would go down if Luffy lost, you know, his haki and had to take a break? Now, for that, just real quick, I think that that would be a very dire situation, because having just Ace and Sabo, you know, against Kaido, especially if he's in his hybrid or if, you know, he's full dragon, doesn't matter. It's a bit of a scary situation for the two of them, because now it's like, what are they going to do to really, you know, keep the offensive against Kaido? Now, I do believe that these guys are capable of keeping him, but I think that by the time Luffy comes back, it will be an even harder fight. So I think a lot of this fight hinges on Luffy's ability to maintain his haki. And I think that as long as Luffy maintains his haki for as long as possible, even if Kaido's in hybrid, the fight will be at an equilibrium. I don't think that Kaido's going to lose just because these guys have effective, you know, defense and attack. I think Kaido's strong enough to keep going, right? I feel like it will be at a stalemate. And so, again, what may shift it is Luffy's ability to surpass his limits and then go, I don't know, maybe Gear 5, new version of Gear 4, something else, awakening, right? At the same time, Ace as well. Can Ace surpass his own limits and awaken an advanced form of armament haki like he did in the Ace novel against that one Vice Admiral, right? Because that's how he got armament haki in the first place. He was fighting a Vice Admiral and he kind of awakened it because he needed it, right? So can he do a similar thing against the Yonko and get in advanced form? And I think those would be the 2 points, right? Can these guys surpass their limits to kind of overcome Kaido from this more or less stalemate? Or will they just eventually just fall into the, you know, Gear 4th timing and all that kind of stuff? But yeah, guys, that's it from me. Those are my thoughts as to how it would go. It depends on how these guys manage and pace themselves. Also depends on, you know, Kaido himself and which forms he uses, right? Because if he just takes a beating in human form, it's going to be really hard for him to come back, I know, obviously, right? But yeah, guys, that's about it from this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know your stance on the subject matter at hand. If you want to do it down in the comment section below, if you want to do it on Discord, because I think I'll just put a link to that. I'll put a poll up on Discord, and you guys can let me know. Vote for who you want. If you guys want to talk about paragraphs and paragraphs about the characters and about, you know, their strengths and weaknesses, you can do so in the Discord as well. Feel free to do so. Feel free to join. And that'll be it. As always, guys, like this video if you liked it, and subscribe for more content like this. And if you know someone who needs to hear the truth, share this video with them. If you have time, watch one more of my other videos. If not, thank you for watching this video. That's for our guys. This is King KZ, and I'll see you in the next one.